Your disobedience will not be tolerated. I want his head by morning.
There was a time in Israel, a dark time, when the very heavens seemed to turn their face away. King Ahab and his wicked queen Jezebel had led the people astray, bowing down to false gods, particularly Baal, the god of rain and fertility. The land cried out, not in prayer, but in thirst. It was into this spiritual drought that a man emerged, like a stark, unyielding rock in a barren desert. His name was Elijah the Tishbite, and his message was as sharp and unyielding as the famine itself.
As the Lord God of Israel lives, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years.
For 3 long years, the skies remained sealed. The land withered, and the people suffered. King Ahab desperately sought Elijah, believing the prophet held the key to the drought, either to curse him or to compel him. But God hid Elijah, first by the brook Cherith, sustained by ravens, and then to the town of Zarephath, to a Gentile widow whose own jar of flour and cruse of oil were almost empty.
Do not fear. Go and do as you have said, but make me a small cake from it first, and bring it to me. And afterward make some for yourself and your son. For thus says the Lord God of Israel,
The bin of flour shall not be used up, nor shall the cruse of oil run dry, till the day the Lord sends rain on the earth.
And so it was. Day after day, the flour and oil never ran out. A small miracle sustaining life in the midst of death. But then tragedy struck.
God, have you come to call my sin to remembrance?
The widow's son had fallen ill and died. Elijah, filled with divine compassion, took the child to his room.
O Lord my God, I pray, let this child's soul come back to him.
3 times, Elijah stretched himself upon the boy, and the Lord heard the voice of Elijah. The child's eyes fluttered open. Life returned.
Now by this, I know that you
The time came for Elijah to confront Ahab. The drought had reached its breaking point. Elijah challenged the 450 prophets of Baal and 400 prophets of Asherah to a contest on Mount Carmel.
How long will you falter between 2 opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal, follow him.
The challenge was simple. Whichever God answered by fire, let him be God. The prophets of Baal cried out to their God from morning till evening, leaping and cutting themselves.
Cry louder! Perhaps he is meditating, or he is busy, or he is on a journey, or perhaps he is sleeping and must be awakened.
But there was no voice. No one answered. No one paid attention. Then it was Elijah's turn. He repaired the altar of the Lord, dug a trench around it, laid the wood and the bull, and then poured 12 jars of water over it, drenching the offering and filling the trench.
Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known this day that you are God in Israel, and I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your word. Hear me, O Lord, hear me, that these people may know that you are the Lord God, and that you have turned their hearts back to you again.
Then the fire of the Lord fell. It consumed the burnt offering, the wood, the stones, and even the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench. And immediately, as Elijah had prophesied, the heavens opened. A great rain descended, breaking the drought and watering the parched earth. Many years passed. Elijah continued his prophetic ministry, speaking truth to power, often in the face of great danger. He found a successor in Elisha, a young man who left everything to follow him. The day came when the Lord decided to take Elijah to heaven. Elijah knew, and Elisha, his faithful disciple, also knew. 3 times, Elijah tried to send Elisha back, but Elisha's devotion was absolute.
Stay here, please, for the Lord has sent me unto Bethel. As the Lord lives and as your soul lives, I will not leave.
A young man who left everything to follow him. But Elisha's devotion was absolute. As they approached the Jordan River, Elijah took his mantle and struck the water. The waters parted, and they crossed on dry ground.
Ask what I may do for you before I am taken away from you. Please let a double portion of your spirit be upon me.
You have asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if you see me when I am taken from you, it shall be so for you.
As they walked on, talking, the very air began to change.
The prophecy is true. The sky is opening. It is upon us.
Suddenly, a chariot of fire appeared, drawn by horses of fire. It separated the 2 of them, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven.
My father! My father! The chariots of Israel and its horsemen!
He left behind a legacy not just of power, but of unwavering faith in the one true God, a faith that called down fire, raised the dead, and ultimately carried him to the heavens. His story reminds us that with true devotion, even the impossible becomes possible, and that God honors those who honor him.
The fire consumes everything. Run!
How long will you waver between 2 opinions?